Is anybody sitting here? Great. Do you mind if I do? Thank you. I thought I was going to be late this morning. I don't know why I chose a class that starts this early when I'm not a morning person. How about you? Yeah? Yeah, you don't mind mornings? If I haven't had at least 2 cups of coffee, I don't function, and I didn't even have time this morning to stop, so we'll see how this goes. So do you like the class? Yeah, it is interesting. So many different works of literature and so many different types of authors, right? Yeah. Sorry, am I bothering you? You seem to be not interested in talking. Surprised? Why are you surprised? Okay. No, I just haven't heard anything like that in a while. I don't know that there are popular people in college, but sure. I'm social, if that's what you mean. Of course I know who you are. Yeah. Well, it's a small class, and when people make really good observations and really thought-provoking observations, I notice. And you do that frequently. In fact, you've had a different take on the books that we've read, and it's fascinating how your mind works. Yes, I'm serious. Why wouldn't I be? Well, fair. It is a little off-putting when some random girl comes and sits beside you and starts chatting your ear off first thing in the morning. I'll give you that. Yeah, well, to be honest, I was going to blow off today because I just am not feeling it. But first of all, this prof notices, and second of all, we have to hand in the paper that was due yesterday because, remember, he said not to hand it in. We'll hand it in today, so I have to hand it in today. Yeah, he just didn't feel like taking them yesterday. Gotta love it, right? Did you find that one interesting? The topic? It wasn't your favorite. Why? Well, comparing the virtues of romance in an Austenian society versus today was a little bit of a mind bender to put the two side by side. But we are studying Austen's works and the Bronte sisters and all of those wonderful people. I think that was just the prof's way of like tying it back to our own lives today. Can you imagine what Jane Austen would have thought of our world? Social media, online dating, apps, ghosting. Like, she would have just lost her mind. That was kind of my point that I made in my paper. Well, think about it. Her world was so proper. It was even scandalous that she was unmarried. And if you look at, for example, Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy, you could move that into a modern setting. I mean, Lord knows enough movies and things have, but how do you keep the romance and the magic of Austen if you take away all of the things that make her distinct? And by moving it into a modern setting, I feel like you're doing that. Well, it wouldn't be as unheard of for someone like Elizabeth Bennet to be outspoken and to not go with the flow. I mean, that's encouraged in today's society. You could take it to the extreme to prove your point, but at the same time, does that not ruin some of the story? Because she still has to be likable. She still has to be someone that the audience will relate to. I'm sorry, I'm prattling on. Well, I'm actually surprised I can be this lucid without coffee. No. I like that you look at me when I speak. A lot of people don't. Mm-hmm. You look a little surprised. Didn't think I was that deep. Well, wouldn't be the first time I've been accused of that. The truth is, I'm a voracious reader. I read everything I can get my hands on, and we happen to be studying one of my favorite time periods. So I get a little excited. Now, the paper before, where we dug into Frankenstein and the motives of Frankenstein's monster and the reaction of the people that he encountered, that one wasn't quite up my alley. No, the humanity is interesting. I mean, isn't that really what we all want, is to belong and to be accepted for who we are? That's kind of the heart of that story. But I don't know, the way the prof was asking us to dissect it and really dig into the motives of the monster, it was almost like he was asking us to find inhumanity where there should be only humanity. Like, he was asking us to look at it from the perspective of the townspeople. And yeah, that's a great alternative take on it. But it felt weird. It felt really strange to be trying to be that closed-minded in the analysis, you know? I'm pretty sure I didn't do very well on that one, because basically I ended up saying that there was no point in trying to see it that way, because the point that Mary Shelley was trying to make was that humanity needs to be more accepting. We need to look past physical flaws. We need to look past the things that we're predisposed to be against and just accept. Give people a chance. So I basically said I didn't want to put myself in the shoes of the townspeople because, well, I didn't want that kind of hate. I didn't want that kind of judgment in my mind, you know? That sounds so strange, doesn't it? No? Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. I don't know where the prof is. I thought I was going to be late, and here I walked in 2 minutes before class is supposed to start, and he's not here. That's okay. We've just been chatting, so it's not so bad, right? So what was your take on the assignment about Frankenstein? Interesting. No, that's a great perspective. I didn't think about that. Yeah, if you put yourself in the shoes of somebody that has a completely opposite viewpoint of you, that's how you understand them more. It's also how you avoid the pitfalls of what you see as their flaws, because you have a chance to really dig into them. So what you're saying is, by putting yourself in the position of the townspeople, you're actually learning what not to do. That's brilliant. I love it. I'm sure you'll do really well on the paper. Yeah, no, it's a great point. I didn't even think about it. You're really smart. Sorry, that sounded really bad, but it's true. Like I said earlier, you just have a way of looking at things that I find fascinating, because you bring up points that even the prof hasn't thought of, and you make the topic more well-rounded with your comments and your questions. Yeah. It's refreshing. Well, not many of my friends are as interested in literature and all that entails. If it's not on some social media site, it's not worth reading in their minds. I mean, they're good people, that we just don't have that in common, you know? So it's nice to talk to somebody who thinks that way and who has such fascinating ideas. I'm sorry, I've embarrassed you, haven't I? I didn't mean to. I was just being honest about how much I've enjoyed your interactions in this class. I I don't say nearly as much because I never think that my opinion is going to be worth hearing, you know? I know what I think, I know what I feel, and I'm happy with that. I don't know how to contribute to the bigger conversation in a way that doesn't make me feel like everybody's staring at me and doesn't make me want to crawl under the floor, even if what I'm saying has merit. Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I will. I'll try to talk more. Maybe if I sit beside you, I'll get some of your confidence. Oh, oh, finally. The lost has been found. Hey, look. Before we get started for the day, I'm gonna go grab coffee after this class because I have a bit of time before my next one. Do you maybe want to join me?